Hey there, guys. Welcome to Anthony Reviews, where Anthony reviews. And I don't know about you guys, but Hasbro really got my wallet recently. I've got a whole bunch of stuff. I've got stuff like this. I've got stuff like this. I've got, stuff like this. I've got stuff like this. So I don't know about you guys, but I felt like I wanted to go ahead and open these up, and this isn't even half of it. So let's just go ahead and do a little bit of an unboxing marathon, if you will. So if you like stuff like Marvel, GI Joe, let's just go ahead and open some figures and see what they're like. I think we're going to go ahead and start with these retro carded Spider-Man figures. Now I didn't get the whole wave. I just sort of pick and chose some favorites of mine. So that being Tombstone and Scarlet Spider. Tombstone, big fan of sort of mob boss, sort of gangster Tombstone. I know there's a couple different versions of him from the comics and the cartoons and everything, but this version, very reminiscent of how he is in like Spectacular Spider-Man, if you will. So very excited to sort of get him open there. There's some sort of classic artwork, very reminiscent of the 90s card backs. We got some stuff on the back there. Very, very cool. And then, of course, the other one that we're looking at is the Scarlet Spider, Ben Reilly, just the pinnacle, right, of sort of 90s superhero costumes. It's Spider-Man, but it's a bit more streamlined, and then he's got this cool hoodie. But this one looks like the best one Marvel Legends has ever done. They've done a couple here and there, but this one looks really, really cool. So I'm very, very, very excited to get that opened up. Once again, some artwork on the back and everything, so very cool. I guess we'll go ahead and start with Tombstone himself. If you like these classic card backs, I do apologize. This will look a little, inappropriate to you fans. Oh God, that's the worst. Oh jeez, really got to get in there. All right, that's better. Okay, we've got Tombstone out of the packaging here. Nice sort of clean look at this big suited body. We've got that iconic sort of face there with the flat top, looking cool. He's got a trigger finger hand and then more of like a gripping hand. I guess, if you want them, ooh, feeling stiff there. May have to heat those up, I'm not sure, or just keep bending until you get it, but there we go. That works. I guess if you want him sort of like grabbing somebody by the throat and like threatening them, you can do it that way. But I mean, it's a very nice, simple suit. Got some black, got a sort of pinstripe blue undershirt there. Pretty cool. Let's see, he does come with this crowbar that you can sort of put into his hand there, so we can hold that pretty nice. So if you want this, this gangster guy to sort of make some threats, do some damage, some physical damage, you can do that with this crowbar, which is pretty neat. And then the other hands he comes with are just two interchangeable fists, pretty normal. I guess something a bit controversial is sort of how they've done the head here. Instead of it being a separate piece where the neck goes into the body and then, a separate head, the head and the neck are one piece. So, I don't know, I guess it depends on the types of characters that you want to do. This, I honestly don't have too much of a problem, because, he can't really, well, I say that. He can't really do too much up and down, but, left and right, it's not too bad. He is Tombstone, so I don't imagine him getting into too crazy poses, but, some slight tilt here and there, but it is a bit hindering to the articulation, I will agree. But, I mean, the way that I'm going to be posing him, I don't think he's going to be in that many crazy poses, if you know what I mean. For the alternate head, it's just a sort of ball that goes into a socket here. And then there you go. There's the, this more disgusted head, I guess you could call it, He's like really wanting to bash your head in, maybe. I don't know. But it is very well detailed. I do like the paint on there, so that's good. Moving on to Scarlet Spider. This packaging, when I got it, it was actually already damaged. Like, it came like this. So if you're an on-card collector, don't even worry. This wasn't worth keeping on card anyways. Let's see if we can get a cleaner rip this time. Nope, not at all. Alright, there he is. He does come with a good amount of hands, which is really appreciated. People might say I'm too aggressive, but whatever, it's fine. So here we have Ben Reilly, this sort of nice classic 90s costume out of the packaging. He's really muscular. He's got this sort of nice sculpted tattered sort of hoodie on. It looks really cool. Like, this is way more my speed when it comes to Ben Riley. The sort of angular eyes are super, super nostalgic for me. He looks awesome. Is it practical to wear a hood when you're swinging around New York City? No, but I mean, for a suit, a cool looking action figure, it works. I like his belt here. It is a separate piece that you can move up and down. He comes with these little bracelets. He's got the pouches, which are nicely detailed. They're brown with the silver details there. He looks good. Everything is pretty much where you would want to be. The reds, the blues, the strings. These like little bits. Oh, okay. The hood is. I guess it's glued on the back there. But if you keep that flush, you're not gonna notice too much. In terms of posing, you can get this guy in some pretty cool stuff. When you think of Spider-Man sort of crouched down and being sort of nimble and like a gymnast, you can get him in some really cool stuff, which is exciting. I mean, considering that the Scarlet Spider is a fairly popular Spider-Man character, a very popular version of the wall crawler, I would say that this is pretty high on a lot of people's list. I would say it's the best one Hasbro's done so far. You get a lot of cool extra hands. He looks the most like how I imagine the character, I would say. He gets a lot of that right, which is exciting. You can do some cool stuff with him, which is Spider-Man. You want to be able to get him in those exciting sort of poses, right? Like, I think you get that. You get that with the toe bends and everything, and the way the legs come out. Like, you can get a lot from this guy. So obviously, I didn't get the full wave of figures, but just looking at these two on their own, I do think that they're worth it. This Tombstone and this Scarlet Spider are probably one of the best versions that Hasbro has ever done of each character. I think this guy's got the build, he's got the bulk, he has the attitude, and Scarlet Spider is a fully articulated, excellent look at that 90s character. So if you want to get one of these or both of these, or you're on the fence, I would say get them. You won't regret it. Switching over to the side of G.I. Joe, we're going to be taking a look at two Cobra bad guys. We have Big Boa and the Techno Viper from the G.I. Joe Classified series. Now, kind of different aspects of the Cobra world, I would say. You've got sort of, your soldier. You've got your guy that's like all decked out in armor. And, obviously Techno Viper, he's the smarts. He's got little holographic bits. And then you have this big behemoth. He's missing some teeth. He's cut and bruised. And, he comes with dumbbells. Like, absolutely love it. I'm a big fan of the G.I. Joe line, and I'm a big fan of the Cobra rank, so these guys here, this is exactly what I like about Cobra. Guys with guns and guys with guns. That was stupid. I'm sorry. Which one should we look at? Let's do, let's do Big Boa. Oh my god. I shot across the room. I guess the cuff piece is separate from the sort of the hand piece, so maybe be careful. Maybe I'm being silly shooting these things out of the package. Alright, we got Big Boa out of the box, we got him with all his accessories, and I mean, first impressions, this guy is awesome, he looks great. I feel like the term Mad Max gets thrown around a lot whenever I review figures and something looks a little post-apocalyptic, but the spiked sort of bits here and the leather, and I mean, you can guess what that is on his knuckles. I mean, yeah, this guy looks like he came out of Thunderdome, which is great. The amount of character that's in that face, those eyes, the scars, the teeth, it just says so much. And if you want to sort of cover up all that character, you do have this helmet, which I will admit looks very cool. It looks very retro sci-fi, very late 70s. It looks really neat. So I mean, I don't know. I like the helmet, but I like the face a lot. I don't know. And then as mentioned before, the hands, he does get different hands. So if you just want to pull this out here and then just make sure that the cuff is, and then you can plug this in. And so that's what he looks like with that boxing glove on, which, I mean, it's an intimidating look, like a guy with a boxing glove comes out with you. He's not wearing that for show, I bet. And here he is with that helmet on and both the boxing gloves on to kind of get a feel of what he's like out in battle. This is not him training Cobra sort of troops here. This is him out there, taking names, I guess you could say. And ultimately, he does look very, very cool. Like I said, I'm not sure how I'm going to display him, if I want to do the helmet or the face, but like the helmet does look really cool. It's very retro sci-fi, which I do like a lot. But the casualness of just a guy lifting sort of a dumbbell, that's so massive. Like this is just something he does absent-mindedly is that's really cool too. That's very intimidating, but overall, the paint is great, the body is great, the face is great. I'm loving this guy. All right, let's move on to the Techno Viper. Gosh, he comes with so much. It's really cool. All right, we got Techno Viper all out of his package, and they say first impressions are really everything, and I mean, my first impression of this guy is that he is fantastic. I mean, he comes with so much. He's so unique. Like, yeah, he's a Cobra Trooper. He's got a helmet and a chest piece and all of that stuff. He comes with a gun or two, but ultimately, he's just so cool. I mean, the purple color is one thing, but then, we've got this sort of like hologram layout here, and it has all of its little details and everything, and it can go on either side. There's a plug on this side of the arm as well, so you can have them do it on both sides if you'd like. But I mean, once again, going to that sort of sci-fi route with the helmet here, he looks so cool. It's very angular, it's very retro, but I mean, it doesn't feel super old, but it is, obviously based on something 80s. But I love all the tubes and everything. He's got it coming over his shoulders, and you can plug it into the back, and he holds all of his sort of tools in his backpack here. I mean, that's another thing I love about G.I. Joe figures, and this figure is no different, is that, you can store mostly everything on the figures themselves. So that's just such a cool toyetic feature about them that I love. And, you can still get him in some action poses. He's a fully articulated figure, so you shouldn't have any issues there, luckily. So overall, just a couple of really cool additions to my Cobra ranks. I think this really says it all. These guys have completely different mindsets on what is and isn't important. They come from different worlds, but they play for the same team, in a sense, which is kind of cool. So I think if this doesn't sell you on the idea of these figures and, how cool they can look on their shelf, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I think this is pretty neat. I really, really like both of these figures. So moving back into the world of Marvel Legends, we have this Wolverine pack that is celebrating 50 years of Wolverine. That's right, 50 years of Logan, which is crazy. But that means he's going to be getting a lot of cool action figures this year. This pack is actually something from my girlfriend's collection. She had ordered this because she's a Wolverine fan. She's got a Wolverine collection, but she was nice enough to go ahead and let me open this on video for you guys. So let's just go ahead and take a look at Patch and Joe Fixit. Here's a look at the back of the box. We see the original cover as well as the sort of new cover, which pays homage to the old cover, which is also what is the new one. I mean, it's Phil Noto, so that looks really nice. Also, the box came pretty banged up. No idea why that is, but I mean, 50 years, pretty cool. I love the yellow and pink, really digging that. But, that's enough of that. Let's take a look at the figures. It's a little heavy, but I guess that can be expected when you've got a Hulk in here. I don't think I'm going to pop this one out because I think it's going to kill someone if I hit anybody. Jesus Christ. Don't worry, he's okay. He made it. So we got Patch and Joe Fixit out of the packaging, and I mean, just standing here by themselves, nothing else. They look really good. We'll take a look at Wolverine as Patch here first, just because, he's the star of the show. You get it. And I mean, the face is great. The claws look really nice. I'm not sure which Wolverine these come from. I mean, there's so many Wolverine figures nowadays, it's hard to keep track. But he's in this nice little white tuxedo. He's got sort of a typical sort of Logan grimacing face. He's got this wonderful curved up Wolverine hair. Super comic booky, super ridiculous looking, but it's part of Wolverine's charm for sure. He's got some nice sort of pants on, just simple, looks to it. But overall, I mean, he's got the look down. And he does come with alternate hands and an alternate head. If you want a more, I guess, he's smirking. He's kind of proud of himself, You get that head tilt, you can get some nice emotion out of it, which is great. I mean, I don't know which one my girlfriend will want displayed, but Hoping it's this one. Then looking at this nice gray Hulk, he has this beautifully big body. He has a very Frankenstein-shaped brow with this awful, awful haircut, but he looks great. I think this is the body that was used for like a Gamerverse Joe Fixit Hulk, but it works for what it is. I think he looks good standing next to Wolverine. It looks like that comic cover. Could he be a bit more rectangular? Sure, but I think it's a very nice looking suit. I can see why they used it again, but you know, especially with this head, that really gives it that comic booky feel. And he does come with an alternate head and hands as well. So if you want him sort of angry or, you know, coming for you kind of thing, you can do that as well. And I mean, I like this head too. It captures that sort of angry expression really, really well. I will say though, the pegs on the hands, very, very small. So, you know, be careful with that. Unfortunately, you can't really cross their arms in order to sort of recreate that comic book cover, mainly due to the sort of size of their arms and the jackets that they're wearing. But, I mean, you can kind of do something with it, right? I mean, these are still really, really good representations of these comic characters. It's not really something we get a lot. Neither of these characters we get a lot, if ever. Honestly, have we ever gotten a patch figure before? I don't know. But seeing them here, despite their articulation limitations, I still think these are really, really good figures. All right, let's circle back around to the G.I. Joe Classified line and take a look at Metalhead, our first of the Iron Grenadiers, I believe. And if you're wondering why I sort of had him laying back there, it's because this box came, like, messed up. I have no idea what happened. It doesn't look like anything's been tampered with. All his pieces are there, so I'm not entirely sure, but very excited to get this thing opened up here. Looking very, very good. This is a deluxe figure, so it makes sense he comes with a lot, but still, he comes with a lot. Goodness gracious, that was an ordeal. All right, we got Metalhead out, and I mean, honestly, he's something. I mean, he's very, very busy. I mean, he's got missile launchers on his shoulders up here. He's got missile launchers on his hips. He has these tubes, which are honestly kind of, I don't know, they sort of come out a little too easy. They get a little annoying because, like, you mess with them and then, you know, stuff happens. But, I mean, he's got a wild face. He's a little pink, I feel. He could be maybe a little bit more not pink, but maybe he's just sunburned. I don't know. He's got a really wild look. He comes with a lot of hair options. I'll just show you that real quick. Got a sort of goggled look with a sort of like, you know, crosshair up there, which I think is the version I'm going to go with, which does look cool. And then you also have this sort of helmet look, which, I mean, does make him look like a badass, but honestly, after sort of messing with him, and I mean, he's got like thigh-mounted rocket launchers, I don't think I want him to look badass. I think I want him to look a bit more silly. Which, one could argue, this does look silly in itself. He also comes with 2 guns, but, like, what does he need guns for? Like, he has all of this. This is your shtick, dude. You don't need these. Like, these are useless. Who are you fooling? And, of course, if you want him with all of his missile-firing action, here's what he looks like with that. From what I can tell, you can't put the missiles in the launchers by itself, so you kind of just have to have them firing off, which is a choice. Once again, I don't think I like these hoses, because that's why. They come out way too easily. It's a very fiddly man. So I don't know how I feel about this one. This one's a little weak, not gonna lie. And just to like check, yeah, like that doesn't go in. So you can't really have just the missiles sitting in there, which is a bit of a bummer. This video is brought to you in part by Hobby Link Japan. If you're a fan of things like Super Sentai or just Japanese media in general, why don't you check out Hobby Link Japan? They've got figures, statues, and a whole horde of different kind of collectibles. Click the link down in the description below to check out Hobby Link Japan today. And let's make our way back to the world of Marvel Legends with the Wolverine 50 years anniversary Logan and Sabretooth 2-pack. I mean, Logan, Sabretooth, it absolutely makes sense they would release a pack like this. They have done Sabretooth a couple of times, not that many times, not nearly as many times as Logan, but a couple times here. But this really looks like it's trying to be the ultimate Sabretooth that you imagine in your head. If you're thinking of the cartoon or this era in comics, it makes sense for this Sabretooth to exist. So that's really exciting. On the back here, we have the comic that this is supposed to be pulling inspiration from, as well as the sort of comic cover that's been made for Marvel Legends to homage that. Looks nothing the same, but I don't think that was the intention. Obviously it's meant to do its own Wolverine versus Sabretooth's thing. So let's go ahead and get it open. Certainly not as heavy as the Hulk one, but that makes sense. So looking at Logan and Sabretooth out of the box, they look really, really good together. I mean, Sabretooth just towers over Wolverine, which is what you would want. And obviously, we get a lot of Logan figures. We get a lot of different Wolverines, him in different outfits and whatnot. But this one is a really, really good one. I mean, just looking at the face sculpt there, it's a wonderful version of Wolverine. He's obviously got this cowboy hat on with sort of a brown color. He looks really, really good. The lips might be a little bright. It's a little lipsticky, but I mean, this is a hairy version of Wolverine. He's obviously got hair on his hands and his exposed chest there, but it makes sense for Wolverine here. He's got a nice sort of shape to the torso with this, with this cut here. So I mean, you can get some cool looking poses. I mean, this is just not even trying to sort of messing around, and he already kind of looks really cool, which is exciting. He also does come with an alternate head and hands that come with these little cards, just like fully painted playing cards here, which is pretty cool. It's got sort of Xavier written on the back, which is kind of neat. But obviously, this is a much more playful Logan. He's got a black hat, kind of interesting sort of change there. But very similar to the patch one, where it's like you have sort of stern Logan and you've got sort of playful Logan. Like Logan is having a good time. He just beat Sabretooth. Now he's playing a card game with his friends, and it's pretty cool. So I like that about it. It's got good detail on the jeans here. I mean, if you need some good jeans in your action figures, I'd say this is it. Got some nice sort of boots there, nice painted belt buckle, looks really good. Overall, a very, very nice looking Logan. But, we get enough of Logan. Let's take a look at Sabretooth, the real sort of cool looking exclusive from this 2-pack. And I mean, this is a big, big guy. I love the sort of detailing on the sort of shoulder mane here. I love the use of browns and oranges all over the body. There's a little bit of a difference versus like which one is painted on which, like versus the arms and the legs and everything. But really, you don't notice it too much. But I like the way the gloves are sculpted. Like, ultimately, this is just a really, really good looking Sabretooth. He does come with alternate hands, so if you need him to be more or less grippy, you can. So that's cool. I do like that. And he does come with this alternate head, which is much more of a closed smile, which is still very sinister. Like, this guy looks like he did something. He knows what he did. You don't, and you're about to find out. So overall, a very, very cool 2-pack. I would say if you're looking for a Sabretooth figure, this is the one you need. And, it's another Wolverine, it's another Logan, but like, this is a really good Logan. So I don't think you'd be too upset if you had this in your collection. And continuing this sort of circle of life of G.I. Joe and Marvel, we have the G.I. Joe classified retro-carded Duke and Recondo. Now, it's funny, we had the retro-carded Spider-Man, and now we have these sort of retro-carded versions of G.I. Joe. These are meant to be as classic as possible with the available tools. Now, they've done previous classic ones of like Destro and Baroness and Lady J, where they're mostly just repaints for the most part. But you do have certain ones like Gung Ho, which was basically almost like a redo of that original classified figure. So with this one, we have Recondo, who had gotten a Tiger Force figure, I believe, and then Duke, who was actually one of our earliest G.I. Joe classified figures. So this one is a much more classic take, as opposed to the more modern one we had received before. I guess we'll take a look at Recondo first. Now, compared to the sort of Marvel card backs, I do kind of feel bad about these, because these are actually a lot thicker than the ones they used to have. They've sort of improved those, and I mean, I actually can't even open it from here, so I mean, I may have to just... oh my goodness. Oh my god. Oh! And here we have Recondo, and much like a lot of G.I. Joe figures do, he comes with a pretty good amount of accessories. He's got multiple weapons in there, he's got his backpack, he's got his hat. As you can see, he does have a display stand, and I mean, he does look quite good. He's got his sort of hunting hat on. He's got that wonderful mustache. He does have a great expression. I love his sort of combed back long hair, looking very vaudeville, if you will. You know, he's supposed to be like those sort of old game hunters. I like his sort of gun. A lot of the gun here and his pistol is sort of made in a green plastic, which does evoke that sort of old school G.I. Joe. One cool thing I noticed about the sort of storage for his machete here. See the way it comes in? It's actually split right there, so you can actually slide it in and it actually holds. So very cool. You know, some boring duds, I guess you could call it, but it looks good. You know, some tan. You have some nice green for the camo on the pants, green hat, and then some green with some brown detailed on the back there. So ultimately, I do think that he looks very nice. All right, let's go ahead and move on to Duke. You know, the real American hero, if you will. Best thing you can do is kind of tear into it like that. Make sure you don't lose anything. You know, this just fell out there. And now we have Duke all set and ready to go. And I mean, he's really decked out. He comes with a good amount. I don't know if he really needs everything. You know, he comes with two different guns, which is cool. He comes with his binoculars because the original did. They don't exactly sit super well, as you can see, just the way that the belt and everything lays over. But I guess you could take off the belt if you want. But he comes with a helmet. Visor, you can flip that up. Helmet, of course, is removable. Now, I am a little bit torn just because I really like that original Duke head. And, like, this is good. I don't know if I can necessarily say it's better, but, like, it does look good. Like, this is very undeniably Duke from G.I. Joe. And that's what we wanted, right? Like, we wanted that sort of original real American hero figure. And that's this. Like, it looks really nice. Somewhat similar to the Metalhead figure, though not nearly as badly. I do feel like he's a little pink. Like, the hands feel a little pink, but overall, I don't think it's too much of an issue. But colors-wise, everything here, I mean, it's got, you know, the whole saying on the back of the shovel there. He does look like how you would imagine Duke, and not sort of the futuristic take we saw on the original classified figure. This one is not classified. It is classic. So having these two classic characters stand side by side, and they look great together. Like, they obviously look like they're meant to be from the same line, the same everything. Like, they look like good companion pieces. There obviously also is the Scarlet in this line. I haven't gotten that yet. I'm wanting to. I'm really excited about it. But for these two right now, yeah, two of the three, I think they're really, really good. So I'm pretty happy with it. Let us return to the world of Marvel one last time for this Spider-Man inspired VHS 2-pack of Daredevil versus Hydro Man. So this is actually kind of a weird thing. We've seen so many windowed package, you know, return to the plastic in the packages, and now we have a bit of a throwback with this sort of plasticless appearance. So kind of different, but we do get some nice art of Daredevil fighting Hydro Man. Not something that ever happened in the cartoon. Hydro Man, you know, the MJ stalker, and then Daredevil only appeared once. He appeared blonde, but you know what? It's a cool way to get both the characters, so it is what it is. We've got the sort of Marvel Legends VHS styling there. We also have sort of back shots of Daredevil and Hydro Man. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. I do like these boxes. You know, I like the VHS vibe that it gives. It's neat, but let's go ahead and get it open. Got some stuff there at the bottom, so make sure to get that out. You guys remember these days? These sort of, what the? Oh, okay. Well, that's interesting. We'll see what's inside here. Nothing else in here. Just making sure. And same thing on the side. Shaking it. Nothing else is coming out. Could we just... Oh, there he is. And then... there he is. Alright, so let's go ahead and take a look at Hydro Man first. You know, it's this beautiful looking blue translucent body here. I really do like it. I do like the touches of white. He sort of has white on his chest and his hair there, and it gives it a nice sort of cartoony vibe, you know, of it looking like water without it being over the top. You know, I mean, we'll get to Daredevil, obviously, but, like, there's a good amount of stuff going on here. Nothing on the back, but I mean, it's a cool looking blue dude, which I really like. I mean, the face is crazy looking. He looks psychotic, which is great. I mean, that's the character, right? You guys hear that Rob Paulson voice acting like a complete creep after Mary Jane, but he does look good. He does come with alternate hands. It's sort of a gripping hand and a fist, and then he does have sort of a grip and a fist for the other. Not really a grip. It's more like a menacing grab rather than an actual like gripping hand, but you know what I mean. He also does come with these water effects that you can just simply clip onto the feet. So if you want to kind of have him look like he's coming up out of like a puddle of water or something, you can do it that way as well. And they just, like I said, they just slide on to the feet like so. But they do give it a little bit of flair, you know, this big water guy doing his thing, and just it does look cool. I think it's a neat way to do it. Moving on to Daredevil, and we do see quite a bit of a difference from your average Daredevil figure. You know, if you've seen my videos before and you've watched my review of the Green Goblin and Mary Jane from this very line that's based on the animated series, they really pulled back the sort of cel-shaded look. When they did the X-Men figures back in the day, it was like a year or two ago at this point, maybe last year. I don't know. I can't keep track of anything anymore. But they had cel shading. And then when they did the Spider-Man figures, they didn't really have the cel shading. You'd have instances, right? Like the black suit Spider-Man, they did very slight things. But with Daredevil, you have this like huge amount of black over his red, which is how he appeared in the cartoon and how he appears in a lot of comics. You know, like this is some extreme, excessive sort of shading on the body, but it looks really, really cool. Get a nice close-up look at all the details there. You know, you'll see the sort of cross hatching on the chest and the arms, and I mean the face is really angry. It might be a little big, but you know, he is wearing sort of a mask on there, so maybe that's just sort of giving it that size. This is on the sort of newer Daredevil body. I believe this is the Renew Your Vow Spider-Man body. You know, it's got stuff like toe bends, and it's a really, really nice articulated body. And they had used this on a Daredevil a while ago on like a 3-pack with Elektra and Bullseye. I didn't pick that one up, unfortunately, but I did, you know, well, I didn't. This actually, my girlfriend picked this up, but having it on this Daredevil does look really, really nice. He does come with quite a bit. He comes with an alternate head, alternate hands. You have sort of splayed out hands, like this one here, and I've got it displayed on the body. You also do have gripping hands and fists, and you do get both of these sort of sticks here with this detachable string piece. So if you wanted it just to be 2 billy clubs that he's got here, you can do so, or connect them. But I mean, he's super, super articulate, which is awesome. I mean, in terms of having a Daredevil that looks like he's prowling on the town is really cool. So very, very neat. I actually think now that I'm looking at this and you know, thinking of stuff we've already opened, this is the same body as the Scarlet Spider we just opened. So it's kind of funny to have 2 of the same body already in this one unboxing video. Honestly, even if you're not a fan of the 90s Spider-Man cartoon, I would say these are really good pickups. I mean, you've got a fully liquid Hydro Man, you know, a character from the comics that is a pretty low-tier Spider-Man villain, but a Spider-Man villain nonetheless. And you get a really, really cool Daredevil figure. So even if you don't think of it as like, oh, it's the cartoon, I'm not a fan of that blonde Daredevil, he looks like this in the comics at times. He's a really fully articulated, fully decked out Daredevil figure. I think he's awesome. The only thing he's missing, honestly, is that blonde Matt Murdock head. And for this video, we're going to be finishing off back in the world of G.I. Joe with the G.I. Joe Classified Quick Kick figure. And as you can see, it looks like Quick Kick got to the box himself. Like, I have no idea what happened. This might be one of the worst instances of a box that I got delivered ever. So, yeah, that's great. This is shipped from Amazon, shipped through UPS. I don't know what the heck happened. It looks like everything's fine in the box, but I guess we'll see. But let's get this open, or at least see if we can. Might have to start from the bottom. That might be the easier option. I mean, everything looks fine. Alright, Quick Kick is out of the box, and obviously looking at him here, very simple, very clean, but a very, very cool looking figure. I mean, he looks like the character from the cartoon, and that's really where I think of this character from. You know, it's that original real American hero cartoon that he sort of shines. You look at this guy, and it's like, well, we have an Asian character who's going to do karate. You know, what do we do with him? It's like, oh, well, let's make him like a Hollywood guy. You know, he like talks with like a silly sort of Hollywood attitude, like, hey, let's do lunch, baby. He talks like that, and he's known for doing a chocolate bar commercial, which, I mean, is awesome that they include a sort of chocolate bar accessory. Super, super great. But as a figure, he does look really cool. I love the head sculpt. I love the sort of bandana and the hair there. He does come with multiple weapons. You can see you can store the nunchuck on the back there. It's a little stiff, so you know when he's holding it like that, it's a bit yeah, we'll stop looking at that now. We got swords on a backpack. You can remove the backpack, so if you just want him to have this sort of sash like that, you can, which is appreciated. He even comes with an alternate head, which is pretty rare, I feel. Not a whole lot of classified figures come with alternate heads, so he's sort of in action, you know, doing cool stunt stuff. So I think that's pretty neat. He also comes with this sort of like throwing shuriken accessory. I don't really see like a proper way to hold it, so I just sort of put it in the between the fingers of this hand, and you know, looks like he's throwing it. Not really my thing, but you know, it does come with it. The color matching from torso to arms isn't perfect. It's pretty distinctly a different color. I don't think you're going to notice it if he's on the shelf, but obviously in video it's coming up pretty well. So, you know, you know, could have been better, I suppose, but you're not going to notice it too terribly well. But you will notice it at least a bit. So honestly, Quick Kick is another really cool addition to the line. I mean, I know he may seem sort of simple at first, you know, no shirt, just a couple of accessories here and there, but honestly, it's a bit more than a couple. It's a good amount, and it's a character where this is what you want. You know, this is what you'd imagine, and stuff like the chocolate bar or the alternate heads really do make it feel like it goes the extra mile to make this feel more than just a guy in pants. You know, he doesn't even have shoes. You know, this guy ain't getting service anywhere, even if he is a big Hollywood star. And there you guys go. That is all the figures unboxed for you guys today. A lot of Marvel, a lot of G.I. Joe, but ultimately a lot of really, really cool stuff. If I had to pick a favorite, it's kind of difficult. I don't know. I mean, the Daredevil that we looked at is fantastic. You know, that is a really, really cool Daredevil, whether you're a fan of the cartoon or not. I really like Big Boa. I mean, he just has so much personality, you know? Like, there's so much there without there feeling like there's a whole bunch. Patch, you know, Wolverine there, I think is a fantastic figure. You know, you get so much, once again, personality. I feel like I'm sort of repeating myself, but there's a lot of good stuff here. You know, maybe some stuff could be improved, you know, more head movement on a character like Tombstone, maybe a bit less fiddly on Metalhead. But overall, I'm really happy with everything that we looked at here. There's a lot of cool stuff. But please let me know if you guys thought any of these figures were cool. You know, if you have a favorite of these, if there's one that you want to pick up now because you watched this video, I'd love to hear it. Also, feel free to check out some of my other videos on my channel. If you like Marvel, if you like G.I. Joe, I'm sure you can find something that'll sort of pique your interest there. And if you like videos like this sort of marathon of unboxing, please let me know about that. I'd love to do more if that's something you guys are interested in. Feel free to sort of subscribe for more videos. You can follow me on my socials. That'll be linked down in the description below. And I believe that's pretty much it. So thank you guys so much for watching. Take care.